mission in Staines. Praise God. I was born into a family that had two sides with two very different traditions. Smith on one side of the family, and the Smith family, Rodney Smith, the preacher, Reuben Smith, who had 100 years ago or so, had a church in Hartlebury Common filled with 200 Gypsy travel people. And there was, on that side of the family, there was a pride in things that happened a long time ago. But of course that wasn't going to help me in my salvation, the salvation of my family. On the other side of the family, my grandmother was a Rafty. And there was a strong Irish Catholic tradition in that side of the family. And that's the religion that I followed. My mum was a very staunch Catholic, and she brought us up to be the same, going to Bible studies, Sunday schools, you name it, everything that there was to learn in the Catholic religion we learned. I can tell you just how much I was a Catholic is that if you go on the website of the church in Langley there, you'll see me sitting on the parish council. Nice little photo of me there, sitting in with the Georgia country people, discussing the events that's going to go on in the church. To be quite honest with you, I'd love to say that becoming a born-again Christian was the best choice I ever made in my life. But it wasn't my choice. I don't know how I got there. God led me to the right place. I don't know how I finished up walking to the front of a tent in Staines with Billy King with his hand on my head and me saying the sinner's prayer. I don't know how I got there. Right? It wasn't my choice, but I know it was right. The sad thing is, from my point of view, is the first time I went to a Christian meeting was back in 1987. I got with my wife Clarice, who was already a born-again Christian at the time. I thought, oh, Christian, I'll go along with a few travelling people company rather than going to church with non-travellers. So, yeah, it's a lovely thing. We went to the convention in 87, 200 or 300 people there, all the pastors, Jackie and Shinders and Tom Wilson and Davy Jones. They're all pretty new at the job. And I've been brought up in the Catholic religion. I read my Bible, I knew my Bible inside out at that time. And it was very easy for me to come up with arguments against being a born-again Christian. And I could say, they'd say to me, you need to be baptised in your own right, not your mum and dad baptise you. And I could come up with a good argument about, oh, my confirmation is equal to that. But it wasn't the truth. My pride in my background on both sides of my family, particularly that connection with Ireland and that connection with the Catholic way of life. It's a tradition, and it's part of who you are. I didn't want to let go of that. So for 25 years, I found a way of not becoming a born-again Christian. And during all that time, I could have been doing a work for God. Instead, I did absolutely nothing. There's brothers in here that nobody wants, they do it for the glory of God. But we all know them. They've converted thousands and thousands of people. Gypsy and traveller people all over the world. I've done nothing. I've stood in a church, a dead church, and been stubborn. Now all I can say to you today is, if you are a Christian, thank yous all, because there's some wonderful testimonies in here. There's testimonies in here from people who I don't know. I'm only just getting on first name terms with them. But their testimony is so strong that it drew me in. It drew me out of a church where I shouldn't be into the one where God wanted me to be. I said thank you for that. Right? If you're not a Christian, particularly if you're a Catholic, let me tell you, a month ago, how long ago was the mission? I don't know, a couple of months ago. Being a Catholic man to me was the best thing you could ever say. I had that much pride in it. I couldn't tell you. It was who I am. There's some wonderful people still in the Catholic Church. There's our families that are still in the Catholic Church. I'm not knocking it in any way. But this is the place to be. This is where the doctrine is true. I've wasted 25 years. Let me be the one that wastes the time, not you. Let me make the mistakes. I've asked all the questions there is to ask about how good this church is. From day one, I've studied it inside out. I'm an educated man for a traveller of my generation. I've studied it inside out. I've looked at every question that every traveller who walks through that door asks. Is there any money in it? Is it for this? Is it for that? Is this right? Is that right? I've done the lot. Let me serve the 25 years, and then something's good come out of me wasting my time. Don't waste your time. Come into this church and give your life to Jesus Christ tonight. Amen.